Hi guys, Iceberg Lettuce here from Forgotten Heralds. I am making a video on something that I feel is important. I see that a lot of people are not taking advantage of the aspects of their base mods and beta and synthetic mods. I'm going to talk about that for a little bit. First of all, your base mods are the white mods in the neck, back, chest, feet, hands, and they all have special abilities. For instance, at DPS, the neck base mod is, generally speaking, either escalating might or precision, and it increases. This one, as might, increases your might by 3% for 8 seconds each time you hit an enemy with a harmful superpower. That's basically any power on your power bar. And that's very important because it is a lot of extra damage added to your attacks. And the base mods that use in DC Universe for a DPS, these are what I use. They may not be what you use, but you should read through them. Excuse me, read through them and understand what they have to offer you. Because my powers are using advanced mechanics, I would recommend using escalated might because you're not going to have that many precision attacks in a row. You need to have 9 precision attacks, I believe, of your hit counter above 9 to get the benefit of that extra precision. Whereas the might is basically every time you hit your enemy with a power, it is attacking with that added bonus. Back, Berserker, your damage output increases by an additional 30% when your health drops below 35%. Basically, you're close to dying, and it's giving you a super buff, which is a ton of extra damage. In the chest, I use Core Strength instead of Penetrating Strikes because the additional 10% damage at the start I'm at, 146, is quite a bit of damage compared to Penetrating Strikes. If we take a look at Penetrating Strikes here, Penetrating Strikes are 33% defense and 3,800 toughness. And at low levels, that's great because it could negate a huge amount of defense for a low CR enemy. But for endgame content that's currently available in the latest DLC, it's Demon's Plan, we're dealing with bosses and adds in the neighborhood of 150 stuff. And having the extra damage over a half hour to an hour raid adds up to a lot of extra damage on each attack. Just imagine if one of your attacks crits at, say, 20,000. Well, adding 2,000 extra damage to that over multiple crits for a half an hour can end up being a significant amount of damage added. In the feet, I use Explosive Block instead of Deadly Block because if something is attacking me, especially if an ad is meleeing me or a boss is meleeing me, I want the Explosive Block to blow the attacker away from me, give me a chance to recover and defend myself and counter it. Whereas the Deadly Block is based on percentage of your precision to damage the enemy from attacking you, this actually blows it away from me. And I like that better. It's personal preference. However, I would not recommend using explosive block for a tank because you want the adds and boss on you, not on your group. So you don't want to blow them away from you. You want to keep them on you. And as a tank, I would use deadly block. In my hands, max damage. It gives a damage roll bonus to 60%. That's basically anytime you use an attack, a super attack on your loadout bar, it is keeping your attacks running at a constant 60% damage bonus. And that is very important because it will add to the overall DPS numbers that you accumulate. Those are just some of the basic ideas I have for our base mods in DPSing. For the colored mods, this guy, as you can see, they're color coded, and it's a yellow socket, red socket, blue socket. And as you can see, the yellow socket, if you match your yellow socket to a mod with yellow in it, such as might and power, or might and vite, or precision and vite, or precision and power, you'll get a critical weapon attack chance of 2.5%. Now, I am strictly might based as an ice tune, and I don't use my weapon attack. I use my superpowers. I have foregone the decision to have that critical weapon attack affinity, and I've just modded straight might. It just depends on what your attacks are overall. If you're precision based, your weapon, you're going to want to have that critical weapon attack chance. And so you're going to want to mod with might and power, or precision and power. If you're straight might, it makes more sense to get more might and just mod against the color. In the back, it's a red socket. I mod straight might, and as you can see here, I get my affinity bonus of 61 might. Whereas here, it's grayed out. I do not get the affinity bonus. In my chest, again, critical weapon attack chance, I've modded straight might. In the legs, it's a blue socket, and it's a critical ability chance. That's my superpower. I need that. And so I mod with might and health. A purple mod, which is a vengeful exobite, and I get the critical ability chance. Those add up over time, and you run any raid with a tune that does not have these affinities, you will see a dramatic difference in their damage. You can even test it yourself on sparring targets. In the feet, again, it's a red socket. I've modded to get the extra power. Waist, red socket. I've modded and I get extra precision. Hands, here I was lucky enough to get the gloves of omnipotence. It is a red socket, and I get the power affinity. And then in the shoulders, here's the critical thing. I don't have a lot of exobites, and I didn't have enough to make a might and power 7. So what I did was just added simply a precision and power beta mod. And you can create these at any of the workstations in the Watchtower or your own workstation, which I actually have right here, portable workstation. And I just use a beta because I can recover the full exobite from it, and I get the critical ability chance. It's key. You've got to use those, and you've got to mod to the color to get the critical ability chance. Very important, and a very good idea to use it. The other thing that I do as a DPS is in my weapon, I use the blast adapter. And as you can see, it has a chance to blast your target and 5 other nearby enemies for additional damage. That's another key component of adding damage. That's a base mod that you can pick up. In my tank roll, things are a little bit different. I'm interested in dominance. The color mods are the same. As a tank, I'm taking attacks, and so in my white mod for my weapon, I use the absorption adapter, which spawns a shield over me and will take some damage. Very important. It doesn't withstand a lot of damage, but it can reduce 75% of the damage up to 25% of my health prevented. That's a lot over a long fight with a boss. In my head, as you can see, I'm modded with a precision and health beta. I actually don't have the precision and dom beta, or I would have used that to gain extra dominance, because as a tank, as an ice tank, dominance and resto are combined into my shields to give the overall strength of the shield, basically how much damage it can absorb before it's broken. So normally I would want dominance and precision in there. And the reason for precision is because of the mod in my feet, Deadly Block. Your block counter causes damage equal to 25% of your precision. So you can actually do damage and kill adds by blocking against them. In my neck, I use fortified blocking. White base mod, blocking may prevent up to 80% of incoming damage. That's a lot of what tanks are doing, is blocking. And that is a huge mod for any tank. Any tank absolutely has to have fortified blocking. In my back, I use breakout protection, which it's a boost to my defense and toughness. It's increased by 10% for 4 seconds after using the breakout ability. So basically, if I get caught in a superpower or stunned, and I use my breakout ability, which is the block button, it boosts my defense and toughness by 10%. And at the level I'm at now, if we take a look, my defense is at almost 26,500. So it's adding another 10% of that onto my defense and my toughness, and it's going to make me harder to get knocked out. Blue socket, I use dominance, and I try to use, for all created mods, which basically are not synthetic, I try to use dom and health if I can. And while I did say that the shields scale your total dominance and restoration as an ice tank, I also want the extra health. Where some people use straight dominant, I wanted the extra health as well. The dominance that I have is well above the level for play for my content. I'm almost at 5,000 dominance, and I'm very capable with the current dominance level that I have. That's why I add the extra health. As you can see, the dominance and health 7 mod gives me 38 dominance and 203 health. And the socket affinity gives me an extra 136 power because I've modded blue. In the chest, I've actually used a PvP prefab mod here. Cost 500 marks of valor, and it added 27 dominance to my stats due to the socket affinity. And the base mod is the chest socket, which is quick healing. Again, an additional 10% bonus to healing received. Very important as a tank to get extra healing. Legs, dom and power. Some use Dom and Resto. The reason I use Dom and Power, one, is because I had that plan to create it. Two, as a tank, my power is actually pretty low. It's only 5,700, and as you can see, power is required to use your abilities in your loadout and is drained as they are performed. You run out of power quickly as a tank, and you need the controller to recharge you. And the more power I have, the more abilities I can use to protect myself and draw the enemies off of my playing partners. In my rings, I've used synthetic dominance on both of them here, and I gain the socket affinity for it. Very important. My rings are usually the last thing that I purchase, and they give the least bonus to CR, to combat rating, and so I use synthetic dominance because those are going to be replaced as I find new ones or can afford new ones. Feet, Dom and Health, and Deadly Block. We've discussed that. Waist, Dom and Health, Socket Affinity gives more dominance. Hands, now that's the one caveat. I just got these gloves. And I get the Socket Affinity for the gloves of Omnipotence for extra power. And that's all the gloves are for the tank as well. And I have the max damage mod in here because it's mainly modded as a DPS. However, I also have with me, which I switch out when I tank, the regenerative shielding mod in my hands. Tank, I would put this regenerative shielding mod in, and it heals me when I use one of my shielding superpowers, which for me is Reflection as an ice tomb. And that will help heal me every time I use it. Very important. Normally, I would be using the tank hand mod and matching it with the set color, but I have it on me, and so I would put that in when I go into tank. Again, shoulders. I've used a dominance and bite alpha. It only gives me one dominant and two bite, but it gives me 145 health just for matching the socket affinity bonus. The reason I use the alpha is because the beta for a dominance and might actually costs 2 exobytes, and you can only recover one of them with a beta recovery kit. So I didn't want to waste the exobyte, so I just used an alpha mod, which I'll recover the whole thing. All but 3 or 4 beta mods use 1 exobyte. The caveat is a few of the vengeful and tenacious bites actually require 2, and it's not worth it to lose one of the exobytes when you can simply use an alpha mod and get the same affinity bonus. So that is tips and my thoughts and ideas on base mods and socket gear mods. And if you have any questions, please post them to me on my Google Plus page, and I will respond. I appreciate your input and any thoughts or criticisms that you may have. I'm open to suggestions or questions as well. As I said, the site's to improve our play and our fun of the game, and that's the whole goal. So you guys can learn something from me, and maybe I can learn something from you. Thanks for your time.